Good evening and JBM everyone. I am Shankar from the Center for Social Justice and Governance. Today I welcome to all to this virtual gathering on the occasion of the 95th Manusmriti Dahan. Our today guest is Dr. Prashant Ingole. Manusmriti is an ancient legal text or Dharma Sastra of the Hinduism. It is the foundational text of the Hindu religion through which an unequal and oppressive social order emanates. The text is a deeply casteist and misogynistic, and the cause of our century of the suffering has Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar points out the bona fide of the Manusmriti was quite intentional. We made a bona fide of it because we view it as a symbol of the injustice under which we have been crushed across the century. Babasaheb firstly publicly burned the Manusmriti on December 25th, 1927 during the Mahad Satyagraha. To him, this was an act of a protest that cannot be confused with anything else. By burning the Manusmriti, the protest reject both Hinduism and uh, inequality of the caste system. It created the following the protest. The Brahminical press was the edge. Babasaheb was called Bhim Asura by many upper caste Hindus. Manwadis had arranged that Ambedkar does not get ground for the meeting, but a Muslim gentleman, Mr. Fatih Khan, gave as a private land. They had arranged that no supplies of the food, water, or anything else could be bought. So everything was brought from the outside by our men. The volunteer had to take oath of 5 items. First one is I don't have belief on Chaturvarna based on the birth. Second, I do not believe the caste distinction. And third, I believe that untouchability is anathema on the Hinduism. I will honestly try my best to completely destroy it. And fourth one is considering that there is no inequality, I will not follow any restrictions about food and drink among at least all Hindus. And fifth one is I believe that untouchables must have equal rights in temples, water source, schools, and other amenities. For those who are inquired what is achieved by the oppressed caste of the burning it, Baba Sahib replied, what was achieved by the Mr. Gandhi was burning the foreign clothes. This is the same for us. Today, day is historic for the anti-caste struggle. I will now call Chitra from the Center of the Excellence in Teacher Education to introduce the keynote speaker, Dr. Prashant Ingoli.
Thank you, Shankar. Jabin everyone. Our today's speaker is Dr. Prashant Ingole, who is a postdoctorate fellow in Humanities and Social Science at the Indian Institute of Technology, Gandhinagar. He did his MPhil from Central University, Gandhinagar. He wrote for many journals and newsletters, which include ResearchGate, Academia, The Print, The Wire, etc. Dr. Prashant, during an interview with The Hindu, told how he was asked about his caste when he asked for water. He also described that he was made to feel inferior as a result of his language and how people mocked his English, implying that he is only here because of his reservation. Fighting constant caste discrimination and othering, Dr. Prashant completed his doctorate and today he is a writer of global distinction. He is a cultural analyst and critique. He writes mostly on Dalit writings and untranslatability. We are fortunate enough to have Dr. Prashant Ingoli with us on board today. Uh, so before I hand it over to you, I would request everybody to be muted throughout the session. Um, yes, so we can proceed now. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Chitra, for this generous introduction. At the outset, I am also thankful to all the people here who have joined for this session. पोती पड़पड़ जग मुआ पंडित भयानो कोई ढाई आखर प्रेम का पड़े सो पंडित होई. First of all, I am delighted to be here on ESAT's platform. heartfelt gratitude for giving me this opportunity on this Manusmriti Dahan Divas. I would like to dedicate this talk to Dr. Gail Lomwet and Bell Hooks, two revolutionary women who left us by giving many up responsibilities. And I don't think anyone can ignore their contribution in the struggle and resistance of the oppressed. There are unliving documents and living realities, and those living realities are atrocious accounts of violence, and those mostly happens against women and lower caste people in India. In this regard, I also acknowledge the protest which was done in 8 October 2018 by Shilabai Pawar and Kantabai Ahire, who had blackened the face of Manu's statue in Rajasthan High Court premises. This was in opposing the ideology of the Manu. And we all know that by burning Manusmriti, Baba Saheb Ambedkar discarded and rejected all the caste codes of conduct which gives a power to few and make powerless to many. Baba Saheb believed in the power of the people's democracy, that is social democracy, and the people's constitution. If Baba Saheb and his colleagues would not have burned the text called Manusmriti, it would not have been possible for us to come together to discuss our everyday problems and to share the feeling of oneness. Many of you might be interested to know why did I choose this topic called foregrounding love and anti-caste perspective. This was my actual discussion with Rahul Sonpimple, and we were discussing that Dalit, if anything, Dalit community need, that is love, and that love should be based with a feeling of oneness. I'll come to that how we will go by text, but why this is important for us if we visit Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar's text called Annihilation of Caste. There Baba Saheb mentions that what is a form of true democracy, that is a that is conjoint associated living. So, and for this conjoint associated living, understanding of love is very much important, and that love should process with dignity and self-respect. So coming back to our topic today, I would like to divide this talk into two parts. First, we'll discuss how do we foreground love in current times, because what you see around what is happening, there is a genocidal call, there are hate against the celebration of the particular festivals. So we know how we are surrounded, what kind of activities are going around, because the feeling of humanity, the feeling of attachment and emotions, we are detaching from these processes, and therefore we need to think about love, how we can foreground this conceptualization of love. And in second part, what I would like to discuss what is anti-caste love, and here I would like to bring Jyotira and Savitribai, Baba Saheb and Ramai, and the way they offer love for the emancipation of oppressed communities. How did they engage with the society, engaged together with society, and how they work to emancipate this society. This is one. And if we see to go further, now there is no comparison, but for a moment just to exemplify, if we see now, many of you may have love story, that is academy as you are working in academia. So but to exemplify, in our society there are two types of love relations happen. One which we imagine through the Bollywood masala movies, and second which is not just in theory but in practice. That is love, which we derive from Buddhist tradition and the philosophy of the anti-caste radicals, Phule, Ambedkar, and Periyar. And there are also countless definitions of love, but anti-caste perspective on love is not there. So it's only if anyone wants to understand what Suraj Engde has conceptualized called Dalit love in his book called Caste Matters, there is a section on that. But I'm not deriving anything from it, but I'll try to revisit in a different way. And one more important thing, this talk is a part of my ongoing project, and if you have any suggestions, feedback, I will be happy to receive it and work on it further. So now our love stories in academia are mostly constructed through the Bollywood imaginations, and those are not love stories, but in my understanding, these are the caste stories. And therefore, what I have observed and experienced the human emotions are remain disconnected at many levels. Very few are successful and many are unsuccessful. If we just see that bringing anti-caste cinema, for example, and this happens in everybody's life, like Jabba is yet to meet Shalu. Persha and Archie's love story is still remain the unfinished one, because you might know that I think few weeks back there was an incident happened in a Beer district, and that was just the reiteration of the story, this story of a Saira. Just was a context was a different, but this is how we live in our everyday lives. So that is why I said Persha and Archie's love story is still remain unfinished one. But love is something which is supposed to be performed against hate, ego, dominance, and status politics. Above all, love is something that democratizes the sense of human being. So these are the terms which I am giving this in relation with love. One is hate, ego, dominance, and status politics, and how love crosses these boundaries and democratizes the sense of human being. Because I'll go I'll talk little bit what happened after Dalit Panthers movement, how we are losing the sense of human being, that those connections from the community. And to bring this together, so if anything counters Brahmanism, that answer will many of you will agree that is Buddhism. And why? Because the essence of Buddhism is rooted in love, and the feeling of love can be formed through the four principles Buddhism teaches. One, that is Maitri, meaning loving kindness. Second, it's Karuna, that's a capacity to understand the suffering and the process of healing. And third is a Mudita, that is joy which can share. Fourth is Upeksha, that is non-discrimination. So there is a hate, ego, dominance, and status politics. Then in opposition, there is a Maitri, there is a Karuna, there is Mudita, and there is Upeksha. So we have to see this conceptualization in contrast to each other. And to understand this conceptualization and this contrast, what everyone needs, that's prajna, that's wisdom, and everybody knows that's sheel. Because in any relationship or any matter of the community, if anything is important, that's character, how a particular person or particular being performs in a society. and conceptualizing love and talking about is a very difficult task, but thinking about it varies from individual to individual. But any casteist society like us, love makes different at difference at multiple level. As Buddha says, life is uncertain, only death is certain. So we all travel through this period of uncertainty, rise and fall, sorrow and happiness, love and hate. Among all, what if anything is important, that is love. So if I put this conceptualization of hate, ego, dominance, status politics against and in contrast Maitri, Karuna, Mudita and Upeksha, and if we see these are period of uncertainty, and we know there are many examples in academia and outside. So especially I have experience how if you have attachment or feeling to somebody, how there are multiple hurdles. Like if anything comes first, that is your religion. Second, that comes is your caste. So, third, if these things work, caste and religion works, then comes your status, and status that is decided based on your material reality. What material reality meaning how you can offer facilities to a particular person to live with you. Because I'll come to this, that how this after 1990s we lost this sense of being and sense of understanding. When I discuss Baba Saheb and Ramai, Phule and Jyotira and Savitri, and refer their letters, I'll come to that, how we are differing from that reality of that time. And I don't think any couple in this time is interacting the way these people were interacting through the letter of exchange. So in this time of uncertainty, that Phule and Jyotirao and Savitribai or Baba Saheb and Ramai, they also traveled from this time of uncertainty, but they crossed this level and gave in all of freedom to us in all sense. So I'll just referring to the second part of my talk, what is anti-caste love. So if we see Baba Saheb and Ramai, Jyotibai and Savitri, and their exchange of thoughts, now through letters, one can see that there is a constant engagement of love for a community, not just for self. Of course, there was a love for self, but more than that, they also had the love for the community, the concern about the social evils. So let me first visit what Baba Saheb wrote to Ramai on 30th December 1930 from London, and it was a difficult time for Baba Saheb and Ramai when they lost their four children. That's Gangadhar, Ramesh, Indu, and Rajratna. But they still we are thinking about the community and how they can emancipate this community for a larger good. So Baba Saheb wrote, and ये मैं हिंदी में पढ़ता हूँ. ये जो लेटर है फॉरवर्ड प्रेस में अगर फॉरवर्ड प्रेस में पब्लिश हुआ था. अगर आपको किसी को पढ़ना है तो पढ़ सकते हैं. तो बाबा साहब लिखते हैं कि ये यशवंत के बारे में लिखते हैं, लेकिन यशवंत के बारे में लिखने के बाद बाबा साहब को क्या करना है. तो बाबा साहब लिखते हैं, इंसान के धार्मिक गुलामी का, आर्थिक और सामाजिक उच्च नीचता या मानसिक गुलामी का पता मुझे ढूंढना है. इंसान के जीवन में ये बातें अड़िग बनकर बैठी है, उनको पूरी तरह से जला दफना देना चाहिए। समाज की यादों और संस्कार से भी ये चीजें खत्म कर देने की जरूरत है। तो आप ये सोच सकते हैं कि तब 1930s में बाबा साहेब और रमाई इस तरीके का एंगेजमेंट करते थे। जब वो अब एक दूसरे को पत्र व्यवहार करते थे, तो उनका एंगेजमेंट जो है खुद के लिए तो होता ही था, लेकिन कम्युनिटी के लिए भी होता था। ये आई थिंक मुझे जो मैसेज देना है, दिस इज व्हाट आई वांटेड टू से, कि आपका जब एंगेजमेंट होता है किसी के साथ, तो आपका एंगेजमेंट कम्युनिटी के लिए भी होना चाहिए फॉर द लार्जर गुड। और जैसे सावित्रीबाई और ज्योतिराव फुले में जो एंगेजमेंट होता था, या सावित्रीबाई ने सातारा से 29 अगस्त 1868 को एक खत लिखा था। और जब भी सावित्रीबाई ज्योतिराव को लेटर लिखती थी, तो उसमें पहला टाइटल होता था द एम्बॉडीमेंट ऑफ ट्रूथ, मीनिंग द लिविंग डॉक्यूमेंट ऑफ ट्रूथ, मतलब सत्य। और फिर उन्होंने क्या लिखा है कि वी नो दैट now there are multiple caste killings happen because of love relations, and it is not happening now. It is continuity, because it happens from the century, because our society is rooted in a caste. Our social sense is also rooted in caste. If anything is important for us, that is pride, that from which caste I belong and how I can protect my pride, and to protect that pride I can do anything. So this is what this caste society thinks. So if we I'll read this letter. Savitri salutes you. I received your letter. This is Savitri saying to Jyotiba, we are fine here. I'll come by the 5th of next month. Do not worry about this discount. Meanwhile, a strange thing happened here. The story goes like this. One Ganesh, a Brahman, would go around villages performing religious rites and telling people their fortunes. This was his bread and butter. Ganesh and a teenage girl named Sharja, who is from the Mahar untouchable community, fell in love. I came to know about the murderous plan. I rushed to the spot and scared them away, pointing out the grave consequences of killing the lovers under the British law. They changed their mind after listening to me. Sadhubhav angrily said that the wily Brahman boy and the untouchable girl should leave the village. Both the victims agreed to this. My intervention saved the couple, who gratefully fell at my feet and started crying. Somehow I consoled and pacified them. Now I am sending both of them to you. What else to write? So if you think this think through the line and read this letter, and also visit this movie Sairat, so you will find the very much similarity in between. When this Archie and Pasha goes to Hyderabad, there is a woman who rescues them, and that is what Baba Saheb, Periyar and Phule was hinting to. So if there is any if there is a society, emancipatory or democratic society to be bring, so this women should be liberated first, and women once women will have power, the caste eradication and the order of caste will go away. So I think and with this what I will do, I will stop here, but I'll read a poem from Namdev Dasal's collection of poetry, Tui Yata Kanchi. And that's a small couplet. हे मावळतीच्या दुःखातलं सामर्थ्य, सुखाबद्दल संशय घेत आलो आपण नेहमी. दुःखाला खांद्यावर घेऊन ही एक पायाभूत वेदना, हिंस्त्र, क्रूर ही शस्त्र परजित आपण वळणावरून वळतो आहोत. म्हणजे we are carrying our sorrow in search of love. So and to have a constant engagement with the community, I think that feeling of love and feeling of oneness is more important. What I will suggest, the love stories in academia which we imagine through Bollywood, I think that should be discarded. But what anti-caste philosophy teaches us, what Buddhism teaches us, what Phule, Periyar and Ambedkar teaches us and tells us about the emancipation of society and the community at large, and that is important. Otherwise, what will happen? That we will continue to talk on, continue to deliver a discourse, but if we alienate ourselves from the society, so I don't think there will be any kind of liberation, and there will be any kind of understanding will generate among the educated one and the society at large, or community in particular. Because in analysis of caste itself, Baba Sahib tells that intellectual class is a most important one, and intellectual class can change the discourse in the society. So with this, I will stop here, and if there are any questions, comments, or if anyone want to give a feedback, I'll be happy to receive. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for the insightful talk. Now we can welcome questions, comments, suggestions. Yes,
Yeah, Suraj is having his hand raised.
Yeah, so Jai Bhim, thank you Prakash Da for this insightful talk. I just have one question. Like you pointed out that the idea of love is constructed through cinema, and as we all know that it is the idea is very much casteist in its essence. So how can we translate this anti-caste perspective of love in society, like through what?
Yeah, I was thinking in the morning that we don't have any course on love. Do we? I was thinking that in particular my talk is first one, and particularly by this anti-caste student organization who is doing a talk on love. I think we need to have more discussions around love, how we can theorize this conceptualization of love, and how we practice it in a everyday life. And I think that would be a counter reaction to this caste love stories which are constructed and imagined and consumed through Bollywood masala movies.
Yes,
because
I
I think this what we imagine Bollywood, and what we think about ourselves, how my love story would be, that we all think that all will be good. So and when we try to understand each other day by day, year month after month, and year after year, we come to know the reality, and that what is that reality is a caste reality. And because first of all, we you might heard that I didn't come to you because of your caste. I failed for you, you failed for me, and that is why we are together. But when we think about marriage, then the questions the real questions comes that नहीं शादी इसलिए नहीं हो सकती क्योंकि घर वाले नहीं माने. So intercaste marriages, there are very few examples of a successful intercaste marriages. Otherwise, what we see there are violence and constant attack on the people. I can give many examples but because of that ethical concern, I don't want to name anybody.
Hi everyone, Jai Bhim to everyone. So hi Prashant, it was good talking and on the topic of love. So my question is, do you think that only Bollywood has something to do with love? Because we can say that there are many people from the Dalit or the Adivasi community in like back before 10 to 20 years. So they are not like very much in reach with this Bollywoods and all these aspects of cinematic space. So before that, how you can like describe the love in respect to that? Thank you.
So what I was hinting that there are multiple love stories, and I particularly gave an example of Fandry and Sairat. So the love stories in Fandry and Sairat were not there in Bollywood movies. In Bollywood movies, what we see that there are upper caste love stories, and at the end, beautiful the only good thing happens. But in Sairat and in Fandry, the love stories or the end of this movie is not a good one. It raises a multiple social problems. That what happens if a boy from a lower caste community loves upper caste girl, how she both suffers in different way. That it's not just physical assault, but there is also mental suffering they have to go through, and to see love stories from Adivasi communities or communities from the oppressed in general. Their love stories are not there in academic discussion itself. So one thing we can do, how this community perform love. We need to generate this academic discourse around the love of our oppressed communities, how they perform, and how they have attachment for each other when they feel for each other.
Thank you, Prashant, for answering this. Thank you.
Shivani, you can go now.
Hi, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes,
Am I audible?
Audible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Yeah. So thanks ASA for organizing this, and thank you Prashant for foregrounding love. I can understand it is a dareful task because a society we are living, that is there is like hate is too normalized and love is like complicated, because we often ignore essence of love. And because in particular our community, there is certain, or we can say the long historical rejection about the love. Our people not gain the love which other peoples might they have that privilege to accept by the society, and our people not that acceptance to gain the essence of love, and they are always rejected on the basis of many social stereotypes, not only the caste one. So I'm just wondering, it is not a question because I'm expecting a lot from you, and I thought that you will engage this discussion in further level. So I'm just wondering that I want to understand, do you think we need to be pride, or we have to say proudly that if am I in an anti-caste love relationship, or if I did the anti-caste marriage, so do we need to be proud about this particular, we can say, the sense of togetherness or anything? So do we need to proud about our anti-caste love or anti-caste marriage? Means I'm asking this because I think we are individual human being, right? Hello, am I audible?
Just a minute. Yeah, you were audible. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm saying that we are individual human being, and on that basis, when we in love relationship, we never see what other person come, means we are not conscious. We might be self conscious, that self consciousness in our mind, but as a, when we say we are the we are the follower of Phule Shahu Ambedkar, we have that legacy, we know about the love, the essence of love, like you said, the metta, karuna, mudita, upekha. So we know all these things. So when we in love relationship, we are just as being individual human being, and we are not thinking about we are consciously know about the caste, but we are not giving that too much importance. So I'm just wondering that, do we need to say or do we need to be pride about that anti-caste love? I'm asking that, do we need to be pride, or we have to say proudly that we are in anti-caste love or anti-caste marriage? Because for me, I'm thinking like the way that we are two individual human beings, and when we are in any relationship, if you know about the platonic love or complementary and symmetrical relationship, so on that context, we are not seeing what the person caste belong to, or what the whatever the social stereotypes are there. We are just two individual human being. So when we say like we did the anti-caste marriage, or we are in anti-caste love relationship, because when we say this comment, on that time we are so conscious about each other caste. So, and when we conscious about caste, then there is someone is superior and someone is inferior. There is that sense of superiority and inferiority. So do we need to say like we are in anti-caste love relationship, or we did the anti-caste marriage? That is my question.
Yeah, I think if intercaste relationship is also in a sense a caste relations, because if there is a superior than you or anybody, there will be constant understanding in your mind that he or she belongs from that particular community or particular caste. And
yes,
even that even that person is not saying you directly, but when you go in their community, in their house, a person might feel that, okay, that is one thing. But what is anti-caste love in a particular sense? So we discard the caste coded society. That is one. And I think when we discard that this caste coded society in intercaste marriage, through intercaste marriage or through intercaste relations, we directly or indirectly also challenge the social order. And that is why, if there is a anti-caste relations or anti-caste love, one or two human beings, two individuals, they should feel pride in that relation, and that relation should be based on mutual understanding at first place. So they should understand there is a human to human connection, not caste to caste connection, or not status to status connection. So that connection with other human is important, and that is what anti-caste love is.
Yeah, thank you, Prashant. Thank you. I got my point. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Dr. Prashant, Jai Bhim. This is Nitin.
Yes, Nitin, please.
It was very important and very kind of in-depth talk, and we should engage with such discussions, such topics. Those are, how the culture caste has been practiced through cinematography as well as in reality. But I want to little go or unfold the reality, the situation. Though Dr. Ambedkar talks about the intercaste marriage is the door to break the caste, but what practices we have seen, and I'm generalizing based on majority in terms of research language. Certainly there are exceptions, but when we theorize, when we generalize, we generally go with the your majority or a major sampling or a result. So I want to come on the point that what is your opinion about the materialistic caste or intercaste marriages? Materialistics in the sense of educated Ambedkarite or educated lower caste always have been, you will find marrying with upper caste women. Now, both the groups, women as a vulnerable group in terms of the gender or patriarchy, and a lower caste in terms of the caste hierarchy, both are on one point vulnerable or marginalized. But when you see the materialistic approach, you will see the class involved in that. And you will find that one class marrying with another one class or same class. Now here there is no actually a caste relation. I would overshadow with that and look with the another perspective, which Dr. Ambedkar also at some point discussed about this. I don't go with a Marxist approach, but certainly I will go with a different approach, certainly materialistic or economic approach. So what is your opinion about this myth called intercaste marriage that actually happens on the class based on your economic status rather than the caste status? If I would call an intercaste marriage, if a very well educated or well settled in terms of economic condition, women coming from a very privileged background, certainly any upper caste background, marrying a sweeper who is sweeping in a BMC Bombay, who is every day goes in the sewage and collect this garbage. Will that happen? Then certainly I will say that is a true intercaste marriage. Again, as I said initially, that I'm generalizing based on the majority result in terms of research. There are examples where upper caste women have married with low income status or lower class, scheduled caste or scheduled tribe or OBC community or any other lower caste community, but there are very few. Another dimension you can see with the intercaste marriage is that upper caste men don't get married with lower caste women. The tradition or the caste-based historical practices are, again, I'm theorizing, this is not my personal opinion, that the Dalit women are just for use. Their body is just used by upper caste because we have a tradition so-called tamasha, launi, and so on. So that is another dimension of intercaste marriage where you will see that upper caste, again, I'm generalizing based on a larger result, that upper caste men will engage with the Dalit women or lower caste women. But when the time comes for a marriage, then there will be certainly no positive result in terms of getting married. Again, there are few cases where the marriages have happened, but in large canvas, I'm talking about this. What is your opinion about this so-called intercaste marriage that really happens on a class base, and then intercaste marriage that end with only physical relations and that don't turn in a actual cultural or your religious marriages? Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for this comment, Nitin. And I think you are right at most. So one thing, women is a thing for exploitation and use that is rooted in Manusmritic or Shastric tradition. So, and for that we need to read annihilation of caste multiple times, that Baba Sahib really talked about intercaste marriages or what? So Baba Sahib said intercaste marriages and interdining will not solve the problem of caste. One thing, and we are seeing that. So Baba Sahib's ultimate solution was to discard the Shastric tradition altogether and democratize society based on conjoint associated living. This is two. Third is about now. First, what we will see what happens among our community when the matter of marriages or intercaste relations happen. If intercaste marriages has to happen, it should not only happen that if I am educated Dalit man, I will look for a Brahmin girl. No. So, and if I am educated Dalit girl, I'll look for a Brahmin man. No, that will be one, that is one approach. But second approach, among our community itself, there are multiple subcastes. So I don't have any example at the moment, or I did not come across any data which shows that how this intercaste or subcaste marriages happen. So I didn't if I am a superior at means I am educated, I have a certain kind of wealth, I will look for a particular balanced match. I will not go for a lower one who is not having wealth in their family or educated group in their family. So I try to maintain my status, and then only I try to find a girl for me. So this is what happens in this class notion of class marriages. Second is that both girl and boys from our community who are educated, they should look for a person if they want to emancipate or do something good for a society, to get married with a person from their own community and make them educated. So and why a Brahmin man will not marry a Dalit who is a sweeper? Because it's rooted in caste consciousness, as you rightly pointed out. If they want to marry a girl from a Dalit community, they will use for exploitation. That stated in that Manusmriti tradition itself. So to discard this notion, I think that anything to exemplify or to give an example, that process should start from us. That is what I think.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, Arshad, you are audible.
So first of all, thank you for this insightful discourse. Prashant Dada, from Annihilation of Caste, we have two suggestions. Like one is interdining and intermarriages. So today we dine together irrespective of caste. But when it comes to arranged marriages, we still resist to come out of that circle, that caste circle. Like in my family and surrounding, even we don't want to jump outside our caste circle. So my question is, what are your insights on arranged marriages outside the caste circle? Like when will Brahmin and Dalit intermarry in an arranged marriage? Thank you.
So what we need to do, there are marriages happening, but that as Nitin pointed out, is a few example, and that those marriages are happening based on notion of class. They and because we are yet to democratize our society based on the social values, or to establish human to human connections, and unless and until we will not able to establish a human to human connection. I don't think there will be arranged marriage of a upper caste person or a low person. Forget about their gender, but first we need to establish human to human connection, and that is what to establish human to human connection we need to build our understanding based on this Buddhist principle which I told.
Sir, my second question is, sir, we still in our society as well, like in my caste as well, we discriminate like inferior, superior. Like I come from Mahar caste, so Mahar mein I'm from that so much and this and that. So we still in caste, our caste circle also we discriminate. So this is very, what are your insights on this as well?
That is what I told. No, so you might be knowing जाति तोड़ो समाज जोड़ो का जो मूवमेंट था, तो वो मूवमेंट होना चाहिए। वो मूवमेंट जाति तोड़ो समाज जोड़ो का मूवमेंट जो है ये यही नहीं है कि ब्राह्मण से या किसी सवर्ण से शादी करना है। जैसे समोस है, लाड़वन है, आंदवन है, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये तो होना ही नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि अभी तो हम कन्वर्टेड है तो बुद्धिस्ट है ना। मैं जब तक गांधीनगर आया नहीं था तब तक मुझे ये नहीं पता था कि समोस, लाड़वन, आंदवन ऐसा कुछ होता भी है। मुझे यही पता था कि हम बुद्धिस्ट है। लेकिन जब हम वो आउट ऑफ बॉक्स आते हैं तब हमको रियलिटी पता चलती है। फॉरगेट अबाउट दिस समोस, लाड़वन, आंदवन का ही। लेकिन एक हमारे समाज में एक लिटरेट और एक कम लिटरेट, इलिटरेट नहीं बोलूंगा, कम लिटरेट बोलूंगा, तो उनमें ही शादी नहीं होती, उनमें ही मैचेस नहीं होते। वो स्टेटस देखते हैं कि तुम कितना कमाते हो, मैं कितना कमाता हूँ। अगर मेरा पेमेंट 1 लाख रुपए से ज्यादा है तो ही कुछ बात बनती है। अगर ये नहीं कि तुम एजुकेटेड कितना है। अभी के जमाने में ये कैपिटलिस्टिक सोसाइटी में यही तो बात हो रही है कि how much money you can bring on table in every month. So उसी से तय होता है कि आपका रिश्ता किससे जुड़ता है। ये तो टीका है, लेकिन हम क्षेत्रवाद भी करते हैं। पश्चिम महाराष्ट्र, विदर्भ, मराठवाड़ा, यहाँ कहाँ शादी होती है? बहुत कम होती है। मैंने तो ऐसे भी एग्जाम्पल देखे हैं कि गढ़चिरौली की, अगर आपको पता होगा बहुत लोगों को, गढ़चिरौली की अगर कोई लड़की है और मैं इधर बुल्ढाना, अकोला साइड से हूँ, तो वो नहीं देते लड़की, बोलेंगे नागपुर तक ठीक है लेकिन उसके आगे नहीं। तो एक तो हमें ये सोशल अंडरस्टैंडिंग आना जरूरी है।
Hello, sir. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yes, sir. Jai Bhim, Prashant, sir. Sir, I have some comments and one question regarding when you discussed about challenges, when love faces challenges. You pointed out 3: religion, caste, and status. So I also would like to add a few more obstacle challenges like race, ethnicity, culture, and your regional identity. This should also be considered when we are studying about challenges in respect of love. And other things are like when we are choosing our partner, we have in our mind like a concept of beauty. So what is beautiful? So often we are going for tall, handsome and fair. That is our concept of beautiful. That needs to be also changed. Okay, sir. And the third one is, the lack of platforms of interaction between people of different identity. We have interaction spaces in university campuses only, but it still is universities are not as inclusive as we want. Okay, sir. So we are looking, we have to create alternative spaces for interaction or mingling. So that is my another point, sir. So, sir, when you discuss about this anti-love, anti-caste love, so you gave two concepts, love for self and love for community. So in these two concepts, where does this intercaste marriages stands, and where you put these arranged marriages? Like, only I think in India 10 or 15% people is practicing intercaste marriages. And if we see the interaction between man or woman, or any gender identity, if we see the mobility of women, they are restricted in home in our culture. So that culture also needs to be changed if we want that kind of society which Baba Saheb Phule have imagined. So what is your comment on this, sir?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for your comment or explanation, Mahendra. So one thing I always tell, that what we do theory is a different thing, what we practice is a different thing. One. Second, although we know that not just Indian academia, but each and every academia in some sense is exclusionary, and why the academic campuses are exclusionary, because their social consciousness is also drips into the academic sphere. Like if we see the faculties and students, they come from a particular caste background or race background, or they have particular status. So if they are looking for a partner, or so they will they will go accordingly. One thing. Second, why there is no democratization, because there is a disconnection between society and academia at large. So what we do academia, we never speak outside of that academic wall. So if we want to generate a discourse on love or oneness at large, say for instance, we are making Buddha Viharas as a center of learnings. So we also need to make these centers of constant discussion of love, how we can build a friendship among us, friendship, brotherhood, maitri. So first thing, it is important to establish maitri among ourselves. And if we can establish maitri among ourselves, I think from then onwards we will start discussing these matters which are disconnected in a sense.
Thank you, sir.
Matter of love, matter of marriages.
Hello, hi Prashant, Jai one and all. Thank you, Prashant Bhau, for your very insightful talks and your opinions, and also how you devise the whole anti-caste love from the perspective of us, and what Baba Sahib had told us, taking the anti-caste or annihilation of caste movement forward. I just wanted to know, I know it's gonna be a very deep philosophical thing to go on, and this is not the right platform to talk about it. But the emotional labor that we as people from marginalized community had to go in, even if we are in a relationship with a person from different caste. And I'm not taking the angle that you put like subcaste and all, it's for everywhere. Like it's made religion, race, caste, or class, whatever. The emotional labor has to be always performed by us, and it's always ignored. And the trauma that comes from it, I wanted to know your opinion. And another thing is like what the Mahindra has rightly pointed out, that we need to create a platform. So I thank Ambedkar Student Association for being that safe space. At least I will say for this me that it is a safe space, was a safe space, and will be a safe space for me in higher Brahmanical agraharas like this and JNU and other universities. So I think we can look forward into that aspect.
Meanwhile, what I will do, I will try to answer Chaitanya's question, whatever I have understood. So one thing is that if anybody will have to perform emotional labor from the both the side, that is not love. ये एक तरफा प्यार जो है ना किसी काम का नहीं होता है, प्यार दो तरफा होना चाहिए. ऑफ कोर्स एक तरफा कोई भी स्टार्ट करता है, लेकिन उसके बाद तो परफॉर्म दोनों को करना चाहिए ना. Why would only one person put emotional labor or suffer in that relation? If anybody is suffering in any relationship, that is not relationship. Forget about it, move on, do your work, achieve something. And that is why I say that what we imagine that is Bollywood love, and Bollywood love is in many sense is always about performing a emotional labor. So instead of that, you put emotional labor on improving yourself and community at large. If there is anybody who can understand you, he will come.
We can wind up now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll call upon Shivani to give word of thanks to Prashanta.
Jai Bhim, everyone. I am Shivani from School of Habitat Studies. It's an honor delivering the word of thanks today. I thank Dr. Prashant Ingole for finding time from his schedule and manifesting this valuable talk. It was a valuable speech on foregrounding love through the anti-caste prism. Dr. Prashant brings us to our attention how love in contemporary times is constructed through cinema, which is casteist and is founded on the principles of hate, ego, domination, and status in the society. This, he explains, can be countered through Buddhism, as love is the essence of it based on the humanistic principles of Maitri, Mudita, Karuna, Upeksha, and Pradnya. Dr. Prashant revisited us to the beautiful letter written by Baba Saheb to Ramai and Savitri Mai to Jyotiba, and pointed how their love transcends individuality towards the community as a whole and larger social objectives. I thank Dr. Prashant for his valuable talk. I also thank all the participating members on behalf of the Ambedkar Students Association, TIS Mumbai. I announce the end of this session. Thank you. Jai Bhim.
Thank you, Shivani, for vote of thank, and also each and everyone who participated in discussion, and for this opportunity as well. Thank you so much.